Welcome. My name is Rachel Krentzman, and I'm a physical therapist who's been integrating yoga into physical therapy for nearly 10 years. This DVD is an accumulation of that experience, as well as my studies with Purna yoga founders Adil Palkivala and Savitri. At 16 years old, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which left me with chronic upper back and neck tension. Some years later, after beginning my practice of yoga, I suffered from a disc herniation and had weakness and numbness in my right foot and leg. I healed myself using yoga, and I believe you can too. In this DVD, we'll focus mostly on yoga asana, or postures. But when working to heal back pain, it's important to consider other aspects of healing, including proper nutrition, emotional work, and meditation. When you inhale in the poses, bring light into any area of discomfort. And as you exhale, exhale tension. You can choose to work through the program from the beginning to the end, or you can choose one sequence to practice at a time. What you will need are 2 blocks, a yoga strap, a blanket, and a bolster. The individuals featured are actual clients who have healed themselves using these techniques, and they will be demonstrating various modifications of the poses. I thank you for practicing with me today and wish you all the best on your journey towards health and well-being. Namaste. In the hip series, we will be opening the hips up in every possible direction using traction. And this sequence is very powerful for creating space in the spine because most low back pain is really about tightness in the hips. I've seen in my experience many patients come in with chronic back pain for over 20 years who have healed themselves just using this sequence. It's a very powerful sequence to practice. We'll begin in Supta Padangusthasana. So lie on your back and you'll need a strap. Extend the left leg out and bring the right leg up towards the sky. Place the strap just above the ankle and make sure that your right knee doesn't bend at all. So if there's even the tiniest bend, just move the leg a little bit away from the head. Contract the right thigh muscle, moving the right thigh bone away from the head, and press up through the right heel towards the sky. Pay attention to your bottom leg, your left leg, and roll the left inner thigh down towards the floor, preventing the thigh from rolling out to the side, and push out through the left inner heel. Now move your right outer hip away from your head, creating traction in the hip joint as you're lengthening your hamstrings. Keep the thigh muscles engaged. Roll the left inner knee towards the floor and move the right outer hip away from the head. Take a few deep breaths into the right hamstring, the back of the thigh. And release that side. Bring the left leg up and extend the right leg out. When you're holding onto the straps, watch that you don't bend your elbows or create tension in your neck. So keep the arms straight and pull the shoulder blades down into the earth. Engage both quadriceps, both thigh muscles, pushing out through the right inner heel and rolling the right inner knee towards the floor. And then move the left outer hip away from the head, creating traction in the left hip joint as you're opening the left hamstrings. Move the breath into the back of the left thigh, keeping the hip bones level. And then release. Prasarita Supta Padangusthasana. Take the right leg up again and place the strap around the right heel, holding the strap in the left hand. Again, engage that bottom leg, pushing out through the left inner heel. And as you exhale, move the right leg across the body so that the right heel lines up with the left shoulder. It's very important that you don't cross the leg too far over the body or we'll miss the muscles that we're trying to open. Mostly the external rotators and outer hips. Take the right hand in the hip crease, and as you exhale, push the right hip away from the head. Again, creating traction in the hip joint as we open the outer hips. Take a couple of more breaths here. And release. Switch legs. Take the left leg up, loop the strap around the left inner heel, and hold the strap with the right hand. And with the thigh muscles engaged, bring that left leg across the body, lining the left heel up with the right shoulder. Place the left hand in the hip joint and move the left hip away from the head. Use your hand to push that left hip open, creating space in the hip as we open the external rotators of the hip. And then release. Parsva Supta Padangusthasana. Now we'll take the right leg out to the side. So again, press out through the left inner heel and take the strap around the right outer heel. Take the right leg up towards the sky and hold the strap with the right hand. Take the left hand on the left hip bone and move the left hip out and down towards the floor, stabilizing the pelvis. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, bring the right leg out to the side, keeping the knee straight. We're stretching the adductors of the hip here, the inner thighs. Now take a look at your right foot and make sure the outer edge of the right foot is in line with the floor. Press out through the right heel as you pull the left pelvis out and down towards the floor. Keep the right arm straight to release any tension in the neck. Take a deep inhalation. And as you exhale, draw the navel towards the spine and bring the right leg up, keeping the knee straight. And then release. Take the left leg up towards the sky. Place the strap on the left outer heel and hold the strap with the left hand. Place the right hand on the pelvis. And as you exhale, bring the left leg out to the side. Again, watch that left outer heel, making sure that the outer edge of the foot is parallel to the floor. In this pose, the tendency is for the toes to drop lower than the heel, so keep everything in one line. As you push out through the left heel, pull the right pelvis towards the floor, opening the inner thigh on the left side. And exhaling, gently bring the leg back up. Internal rotation. This movement is usually quite limited in individuals with low back pain, which is why it's extremely important to practice this position. We'll begin with the feet together, and we'll walk the right leg out to the side. Drop the right knee towards the floor. Now look at your body and make sure that the right thigh bone is parallel with your torso, and that the right shin bone is perpendicular to the thigh bone. Then cross the left ankle over the right knee. And allow the right hip to come a little bit off the ground in this position. This is the position of the pose. Now come the actions. Engage the right foot, dorsiflexing the right ankle and pressing the right inner heel towards the earth. Lift the lower belly, lift the pit of the abdomen towards the chin, and move the right thigh bone towards the knee, creating traction in the right hip. If you have any discomfort in the right inner knee, it's very important to place a block under the knee for support. Again, lift the lower belly towards the chin and move the right thigh towards the knee. Take one more breath here and release. Bring the feet together and step the left leg out to the side. Again, watching the position of the pose. Keep the left thigh in line with the torso and the left shin bone perpendicular to the left thigh bone. Cross the right ankle over the left knee and let the left hip come off the ground. Now engage the left ankle, flexing the foot, and press the inner heel, inner arch towards the floor. That will protect your knee. If you used a block on the right side, it's important to use a block on the left side as well. Lift the lower belly towards the chin and move the left thigh bone towards the knee. In this position, we're increasing internal rotation of the hip, but also opening the psoas muscle, big muscle in the spine that attaches to the 5 lumbar vertebrae as well as the discs. Take another deep breath and release. External rotation. Starting with the knees bent and feet on the floor, drop the left knee down towards the floor and cross the right ankle over the left knee. Make sure that your body is in one line so that you look like the letter Y. If your left thigh comes off the ground, you can place a block under the left thigh just for support. And then we'll lift the lower belly and begin to move the right thigh bone out and down towards the floor. Keep the feet flexed here to protect the knees and extend the legs out and down, opening the hips into external rotation. If this pose is challenging and the right knee does not drop towards the floor, you can extend the bottom leg and cross the right heel over the left knee. Take a few more breaths. Lift the pit of the abdomen. And release. Bring the legs together. Now drop the right leg out to the side and cross the left ankle over the right knee. Lift the lower belly, lift the pit of the abdomen towards the chin, and extend the thighs out towards the knee. Make sure to support the right thigh if necessary. And flex the feet. Keep lifting the pit of the abdomen and lengthening the thighs towards the knees. And release. Ekapada Supta Virasana. This pose is very important for opening up the front of the thighs. We'll start with a block and place the block under the right buttocks and sit in Virasana with the right leg. Bend the left knee and place the left foot on the floor. If this hurts your knee, you can always use 2 blocks. Place the hands on the floor and make sure the knee does not come off the ground. If this is easy, you can come off your block and place your buttocks on the floor, reclining back onto your elbows or lying all the way down in a supine position. Make sure the right knee is moving towards the midline, so keep the right knee in line with your belly button. Press the right knee into the ground and lift the pit of the abdomen towards the chin. Take a few deep breaths. If there's discomfort in the knee in all of these options, then practice a lunge to open up the front of the hips instead. Keep the knee pressing down into the ground, move the thigh bone into the knee, and lift the lower belly. As you breathe, move your breath into the front of the right thigh, opening up the quadriceps and moving the hip into extension. Come up and switch legs. Place the block under the left buttocks with the left leg in Virasana and the right leg bent with the foot on the floor. Place the hands on the ground and press the left inner knee into the earth. Again, if this is easy, you can remove the block and bring the buttocks towards the floor, coming onto the elbows or all the way down. And then move that left thigh towards the knee, moving the knee towards the midline as you lift the pit of the abdomen. Move your breath into that left quadriceps, exhaling any tension, any restriction. This is the last pose in the hip sequence. Find that inner smile. Take one more breath. And come out slowly. So now we've moved our hips into all 6 directions. The 3 straight leg positions moved our hips into flexion, adduction, and abduction. And the 3 bent knee positions move the hips into internal rotation, external rotation, and extension, all with traction. So we'll begin with cat-cow, starting on all 4s. Place the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees directly underneath the hips. Start with the spine in a neutral position so that there's a normal curve in the low back. On the exhalation, move the tailbone down towards the floor and the belly button towards the spine, and bring the chin towards the chest. Inhaling, draw the shoulder blades away from the ears. Allow the belly to move towards the earth and the tailbone to lift towards the sky. Exhaling, tuck the tailbone, draw the navel towards the spine and chin towards the chest. As you inhale, move the shoulder blades away from the ears and allow the tailbone to move towards the sky. As you exhale, again, round the spine, drawing the belly button back towards the spine for a posterior pelvic tilt. Inhaling, we're coming into an anterior pelvic tilt as you relax the belly and open the chest. Let's repeat this a few more times at your own pace, exhaling as you round the spine and inhaling as you open the chest. Good. And then release. Forward Virasana. Take the knees wide, feet together, and sit back towards the heels. Stretch out through the fingertips and keep the hands shoulder distance apart. Keep the elbows and wrists off the ground and push the floor away from you as you spread your shoulder blades wide on your back, activating the upper back here. Bring the sitting bones back towards the heels. Spread the shoulder blades wide on the back and release. Side stretch. Let's bring the knees together and sit back onto the heels. Walk the hands over to the right side and cross the left hand on top of the right. Now sit back even more onto the left heel so that we can open up the left side body, the left rib cage. Take a deep inhalation into the left rib cage. And as you exhale, stretch out through the left fingertips and sit back a little bit more onto the left heel. With your breath, open up the left side body. And with every exhalation, just allow the tension to release. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then relax. Walk the hands over to the left side and cross the right hand on top of the left. Sit back onto the right heel. Stretch out through the right fingertips, energizing the right hand. As you sit back even further, opening up the right side body. Inhale into the right rib cage. And exhaling, release tension that we're holding in our spinal muscles. Inhale. Feel yourself creating space between the rib cage. And exhaling, let go. 2 more deep breaths here. And release. Downward facing dog, Padangusthasana. The important thing about downward facing dog is actually the alignment in the spine. Very often, if you have tight hamstrings, that will limit the mobility in the spine and your spine will move out of the correct alignment. So for this variation, we're going to work with our knees bent. Come into forward Virasana to begin. So knees wide, sit back on the heels and stretch out through the fingertips. Then spread the fingers wide, press the finger mounds firmly into the ground, and lift the sitting bones up towards the sky. Keep the knees bent and deepen the groins to lift the sitting bones even more. You should have a nice, normal, slight arch in the low back here. Gaze at the belly button. Make sure the elbow creases face one another and lengthen as you press the index finger mound into the earth. Lift the outer hips up towards the sky. Keep the knees soft and focus on the length that you're creating in the spine. Take 2 more breaths here. If at any point you become tired, feel free to come down to child's pose. Deepen the groins, lift the sitting bones, lengthen the spine, and release. Come down onto the hands and knees. Full pose, Padangusthasana. If you feel that your hamstrings are still somewhat tight, please take the other variation and keep the knees bent. Come into forward Virasana, stretching the fingertips out and sit back on the heels. Keep the knees bent as you lift the sitting bones up towards the sky, coming into downward facing dog. Feel the sitting bones lifting up towards the sky as you deepen the groins, and then begin to contract the quadriceps and straighten the legs. Have the thighs move back and then bring the heels down towards the floor. It's all right if they don't touch, but if you can, start to bring the heels down onto the earth. Keep the lift in the sitting bones, Keep the thighs moving back and move the shoulder blades away from the ears. Take 2 more breaths in this position, lifting the sitting bones as you contract the quadriceps and bring the heels down towards the earth. Lift the pit of the abdomen towards the chest and widen the diaphragm. And come down slowly. If the heels don't touch the floor, roll up a blanket and place the blanket behind the heels so that the heels can press into the blanket. Take your blocks and step your right leg forward and left leg back, bringing the blocks alongside your body. Make sure the hands are in line with the waist. Take the legs as wide as you can, keeping the front knee directly over the ankle. And if you need a blanket, place a blanket under the left knee for support. Keep the chest lifted, fingertips on the blocks, and move the shoulder blades away from the ears. Start to shift the hips forward a little bit, always keeping the right knee directly on top of the right ankle. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, lift the pit of the abdomen. Draw the lower belly up towards the chin. As you do that action, you should start to feel a stretch in front of the left thigh. Inhale, and exhale, lift the pit of the abdomen. Begin to sink that left hip towards the right heel, getting deeper into the left hip flexors. These muscles are very important to open because they attach directly to the lumbar spine and the discs. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Press the feet firmly into the ground. Keep the shoulder blades moving away from the ears and lift the lower belly. Release that side and bring the left leg forward and take the right leg back. Again, keep your hands alongside the waist and pad the knee as necessary. As you exhale, begin to lift the lower belly, ground the feet, and move the tailbone down towards the earth. You should feel a nice stretch in front of the right hip. To go a little deeper, begin to move the right hip towards the left heel, holding the position as you breathe, keeping the pit of the abdomen lifted. Take 2 more breaths here. Opening up the right hip flexors and creating more space for your spine. And release. If that felt fairly intense, then repeat the lunge over again. We're going to take it one step further, going deeper into the hip flexors. So take the right leg forward, left leg back, in the same starting position. This time, as we exhale, we'll lift the left knee off the ground. Make sure not to bring the chest forward or to come up off your blocks. So keep everything as is and straighten the back leg only as much as you can comfortably. We'll take a deep inhalation here. And as you exhale, lift the pit of the abdomen strongly and start to straighten the left knee. Inhale, release the knee down towards the ground. And exhale, straighten the left leg. Inhale, release. And exhale, straighten. One more time. Inhale, releasing the knee to the ground. And exhaling, lifting the lower belly, straighten the left leg. And bring the knee down to the ground. Left side. Step the left leg forward and right leg back. Inhale. And as you exhale, straighten the right knee. Keep the lower belly engaged to avoid arching in the low back. Inhale, release, and exhale, straighten. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift the knee off the ground. Inhale, release. And exhale, straighten the leg. Keep the chest lifted. Keep the lower belly engaged. And come out. Standing poses are important to build strength in the legs, which help to support the spine. We'll begin with Tadasana, mountain pose. We'll use a block for Tadasana today to activate the inner thighs and learn to strengthen the core. Place the block between the legs close to the groin and feet as close as you can towards one another. Spread the toes and place all four corners of the feet firmly into the ground. Then squeeze the block between the legs and begin to roll the thighs in as if you're going to pop the block out the back. Again, squeeze the block and roll the thighs inward, taking the block back. As you roll the thighs in, begin to lift the lower belly and feel the tailbone dropping down towards the floor. Again, press all four corners of the feet firmly into the ground, roll the thighs in, and lift the lower belly. If done correctly, this pose will help to create space in the low back. Move the shoulder blades away from the ears and lift the chest. Let's hold here and take a few more deep breaths. Grounding the feet, rolling the thighs in, lifting the pit of the abdomen, and moving the shoulder blades away from the ears. And relax. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend. Start by facing the wall and place your hands at waist height. Start to walk back and bring your feet directly underneath your hips. Make sure the arms are completely straight. This pose is wonderful because it stretches the hamstrings, stretches the low back, and opens the chest. Take the thighs back, engaging the quadriceps, and deepen the groins. So you're lifting your sitting bones up towards the sky, similar to downward facing dog. Keep the lower belly engaged and begin to move the heart towards the earth. Just gaze down at the floor so the neck stays in a neutral position. As you push into the wall, bring your sitting bones back, take your thighs back, and then to release, bend the knees, walk the feet forward, and come up slowly. Preparation Parsvottanasana. Start facing the wall again. Have your hands at waist height. Walk the feet back, and this time step the right leg forward and take the left leg back. And turn the back heel out at a 45-degree angle. Make sure the spine is straight and the arms are straight as well. Keep the front leg perfectly straight. So press the big toe mound firmly into the ground and engage the right quadriceps. You should feel a stretch in the back of the front thigh. Now pull the right hip away from your head and press the left heel into the ground. Take a few deep breaths here, keeping the front leg perfectly straight, keeping the arms straight, lengthening through the spine, and then release. Step the left leg forward and take the right leg back. I'm going to make sure the spine is straight. Keep the pelvis level, so make sure the pelvis is not tipping to one side. Keep that left leg perfectly straight. Engage the quadriceps. Press the left big toe mound firmly into the ground, and then draw the left hip away from the head. Press the right heel into the ground. And as you breathe, move the breath into the back of the left thigh, opening up the left hamstrings. And then release. Bend the knees, walk the feet forward, and slowly come up. Trikonasana, triangle pose. If you have any balance issues, feel free to use a wall for support. Start in Tadasana, mountain pose, and then step the feet wide. Turn the right leg out to 90 degrees and turn the back toes in about 15 degrees. Make sure the front heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. Take the arms out to the side, lengthen through the fingertips and lift the chest. Externally rotate the right thigh, rolling the right thigh back as you take the right sitting bone forward. Then reach out through the right fingertips, lengthening both sides of the waist, and bring your hand down onto a block or your shin bone. Keep the front thigh rolling out and move the right sitting bone forward. And then lift the left hip away from the front heel. Lift the lower belly towards the chin and move the right rib cage forward. Watch that the shoulder blades move away from the ears. And then, with the strength in the legs, press down into the earth and come up with a straight spine. Turn the left toes out and the right toes in. Make sure the left heel lines up with the right arch. Engage the quadriceps so the legs are strong in this pose. Reach out through the fingertips. Externally rotate that left thigh and move the left sitting bone forward. Reach out through the left fingertips. Keep both side waists long, especially the left side waist, and then bring the left hand down onto the block or the shin bone as you reach up through the right fingertips. If the hamstrings are tight, just make the block a little bit higher, or bring your hand up a little bit higher above the knee. Move that left sitting bone forward as you rotate the front thigh out. Engage the right quadriceps, extending the back leg, and lift the lower belly towards the chin. Then move the right hip away from the front heel. Take one more deep breath here. And with strong legs, come back up to a standing position. Turn the left toes in and come back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Ardha chandrasana, half moon pose. Begin perpendicular to the wall with the right leg forward. Have a block available. We'll start in Trikonasana and bend the right knee. Place the block about a foot in front of your right pinky toe. Place the fingertips on the block. Bend forward into the right leg, and then as you straighten the right leg, place the left leg on the wall. Have the left foot parallel to the floor. Make sure the right leg is directly underneath the hip joint. Now roll the front thigh externally and bring the right sitting bone forward, similar to Trikonasana pose. And then lift that left hip up towards the sky, opening the hip and pressing the left foot into the wall. Lift the lower belly, lift the pit of the abdomen towards the chin. As you press down through the fingertips, reach up through the left fingertips as well. Keep the front thigh rotating externally, lift the lower belly, and press the left leg into the wall, taking the left thigh back. If you have sciatica, you can take your right foot and turn it out a little bit more. Bend the front knee, place the left foot down on the ground, and then come up. Turn around and take the left leg forward. Bend the left leg and come up with the right leg. Make sure the left leg is directly underneath the hip joint. And then engage the left thigh, externally rotate the left leg, and move the left hip forward so that the buttocks don't stick out in this posture. Open the right hip up towards the sky and press the right foot into the wall. Keep the legs very engaged and lift the lower belly towards the chin. Reaching up and down in equal and opposite directions. Keep that top foot pressing firmly into the wall. Keep the thighs active and keep your lower belly engaged. Bend the front knee, place the right leg down on the ground. Come up slowly, and then come back into Tadasana, mountain pose. Prasarita Padottonasana, standing separate leg stretching posture. You'll need a block if you have tight hamstrings for this pose. Start in Tadasana and step the legs wide. Turn the toes in slightly and engage the thighs, so lift the quadriceps. Keeping the legs strong, extend out through the waist and bring your hands down onto the block or onto the floor. Lengthen the spine by pulling the shoulder blades away from the ears and lift the chest. Keep the legs strong and press the inner and outer heels equally into the ground. Maintain the length in the spine, and if you feel you can go further today, walk the hands back, bringing the elbows towards the back of the room, and bend the elbows, placing the crown of the head onto the ground. If you can, rest the head onto the ground or a block and move the shoulder blades away from the ears. Keep the legs strong and keep the inner and outer heels pressing firmly into the ground. Take a few deep breaths here, allowing the spine to open and relax. Then come up halfway. Heel toe the feet in a little bit. Bring the hands to the waist and come up with a straight spine. And release. Virasana 1, modified variation. Take a blanket and place it under your sitting bones, and extend the legs out in front of you. Bend the right knee and place the right foot on the floor. Press the left thigh bone down into the ground and push out through the left inner heel. Then take the left hand, place it behind the back, and take the right elbow on the inside of the right knee. Keeping the left thigh active, inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, lift the lower belly and twist to the left. Inhale, lengthen the spine, pressing the left fingertips into the ground, and exhaling, press the right elbow into the thigh as you twist to the left. One more breath. We'll inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhale, twist. Come back to the center and bend the left knee, placing the left foot on the floor. Extend the right leg out in front of you and ground the right thigh, contracting your quadriceps as you push out through the right inner heel. Place the right hand behind the back and left elbow on the inside of the left knee. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist, lifting the lower belly. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale as you twist. Take one more breath here. Keep the chest broad. And come out. Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana, bridge pose. Lie on your back, bend the knees and place the feet on the floor. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, press the feet down into the ground and lift the hips up, moving the tailbone away from the head. Take a few breaths here, pressing all four corners of the feet into the ground, and keep the knees in line with the hips. As you exhale, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time and have the tailbone move away from the head as you lower. Relax for a moment, then take another deep inhalation, and as you exhale, press the feet down into the ground and lift the hips up. If you can, take it up a little bit higher. Keep rolling the inner thighs towards the floor and press the outer shoulders down into the ground. Lift the lower belly and move the tailbone away from the head. And as you lower down, move one vertebrae at a time, having the tailbone be the last thing to have contact with the floor. Relax here for a moment. If that felt comfortable, you're welcome to take that posture again, or we'll take the full pose next. Press the feet down into the ground, lift the hips up. Now roll the shoulders underneath and clasp your hands. Press the outer shoulders down into the ground and press the forearms down into the ground, opening the chest. Keep the knees in line with the hips and roll the inner thighs towards the floor. If the shoulders are tight, you're welcome to use a strap with the palms facing up. Hold here for 3 more deep breaths, focusing on opening up the spine and opening up the chest. On your next exhalation, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time and release. Side roll. The intention of the side roll is to massage the back muscles as you do each movement, side to side. So lying on your back, bend the knees and bring them into the chest. If you can, grab hold of your elbows or your wrists. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, roll your body over to the right, massaging your back muscles. Go slow and keep the chin in line with the chest. Only go as far as you can before you feel like you'll fall over, and then bring your body back up to center. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, slowly roll to the left and back up. Inhaling in the center and exhaling as you roll to the right and back up to center. Take your time as you roll to the left, feeling each muscle having contact with the floor. One more time. Inhaling, center. Exhale, roll to the right. And bring your body back up. Inhaling and exhaling, roll to the left. And back up to the center. And release. Supine Piriformis stretch. Lying on your back, cross the right ankle over the left knee and pull the left knee in towards the body. As you pull the left knee in, push the right thigh away from your head. You should feel the stretch in the right buttocks. This pose stretches the piriformis muscle, which crosses over the sciatic nerve. So as you inhale, move your breath into the right buttock area. And as you exhale, release any tension. To go deeper, pull that left thigh in towards your chest a little bit more and push the right thigh away. We'll hold here for a few more breaths, lengthening the piriformis and the deep external rotators of the hip. Take one more deep breath and release. Now cross the left ankle over the right knee and bring the right knee into the chest. As you bring that right knee in, push the left thigh away from your head. Find the stretch in the left buttock area, and then move your breath into that area, inhaling light and exhaling tension. Again, to go deeper, just pull that right thigh in as you push the left thigh away. Take a few more breaths here, allowing the left piriformis muscle to stretch and to release any tension off the sciatic nerve. Last breath. And as you exhale, release. Savasana, final relaxation. Place a bolster under the knees for support. That will help take some pressure off the low back. If you still have any discomfort in the spine, you're welcome to place your feet up on a chair. Take the hands and arms about 45 degrees away from the body and turn the palms to face up towards the sky. Make sure the chin is slightly tucked so you're gazing at your heart. And then roll the shoulders underneath, tucking the shoulder blades to open the chest even more. If there's any discomfort or gripping in the low back, lift the hips and move the tailbone away from the head, and then reposition the hips on the ground. Once you find your comfortable position, then relax completely, close your eyes, and begin to take a few deep breaths. Take a deep inhalation, filling your body up with breath. And as you exhale, release any tension, any holding, and begin to melt into the earth. Feel the heaviness of your bones. And allow the muscles to soften as if they're melting towards the floor. Just become heavy and let go completely. If any thoughts arise in your mind as you lie here for the next few minutes, just allow the thoughts to pass by like clouds in the sky and come back to your breath. And let go completely. Slowly begin to bring your attention back to the breath. Just noticing the breath as it moves in and out through the nose. Take a deep inhalation. And as you exhale, bend the right knee and place the right foot on the floor. Take another deep inhalation. And as you exhale, bend the left knee and place the left foot on the floor. Inhaling, take the right arm overhead. And as you exhale, roll to the right, resting your right ear onto your arm. On your next exhalation, press up slowly to a seated position, letting your head be the last thing to come up. Find a comfortable seated position and bring the hands to the heart center. Take a few more deep breaths here and notice how your body feels, how your mind feels, and how your emotions are doing. With gratitude to yourself and your body, take a deep inhalation. And exhaling, bow the chin down towards the heart. Lift the head up. Gently open the eyes and release the hands down. I'm going to demonstrate how to set up a home traction unit using 2 yoga straps and a block. First, tie your yoga straps together to make a large circle. Then take the block and place it through the loop. Take the strap and the block, place it over a door in the center, and then close the door. Make sure it's secure. And then step inside the straps. Place the strap in the hip crease. Walk forward so that you're leaning into the strap. And then place your hands on the floor carefully. Walk the feet back. Take the heels up the door. And then extend the legs out. So we're in downward facing dog on the wall. Lengthen the spine. And then walk the hands back, walk the feet forward, and come on up. It's fairly simple.